Welcome back to the channel, boys. Fabloonski's coming at you next with this 100 discipline Hallowfire Heart build. Now this is an exotic that I've been meaning to make a build around because honestly I think it's pretty useful. The fact that you get your solar abilities back faster, standardly without having to get your super, and then once your super is full, you get your abilities back even faster just from having your super charged. So let's go ahead and break this build down and show what it's about. So my subclass of choice for this build is Code of the Fireforged, which is top tree on the Sunbreaker. Now you guys already know that I love the bottom tree Sunbreaker with the sunspots. I feel like I always neglect the top tree, so I wanted to make a build around it. So we're using this one because honestly I get the hammer strike and it's pretty good. You can weaken enemies with it, plus getting melee or any solar ability kills increases your movement speed and reload speed, which is pretty useful. I'm gonna have my abilities a lot, so I'm pretty much always gonna have bonus movement speed and reload speed. And for my super, I'm not really gonna use it that much, but for when I do use it, enemies killed by hammer of soul explode, plus the hammer shatters into like little chunks of little molten chunks, and they hit enemies and do damage as well. We're also using the thermite grenade and the towering barricade because I like this thermite grenade. It like sends out like a wave of fire, super useful for clearing any type of enemies that are running at you. It's just a really good grenade in general. As for my loadout, now I am taking this into the nightfall, so we're using Izanagi's of course to deal with the champions. You guys already know how good it is. And then we're using Infinite Paths 8. Now this was a drop back in Season of Dawn. Now I was lucky enough to get this roll right here, which is Demolitionist Swashbuckler. Now I would have liked to have a little bit more range in this weapon. As you guys can see right here, my range stat is kind of lacking a little bit. I had a handling masterwork. Now I masterworked it because I wanted to drop Orbs of Light. Now my handling is pretty high, but if this was a range masterwork, I feel like it would have been, S tier. This is pretty good pulse rifle anyway. I mean, having Swashbuckler and Demolitionist is pretty good. Anytime I get a melee kill, it puts us up to 5 times Swashbuckler. I think it's like 33% extra damage or something like that, and then Demolitionist just getting kills with it is going to help regenerate my grenade. And as for my heavy weapon of choice, we're using Falling Guillotine just to help with the boss damage. You guys already know how good this is. So now let's move on to my stats right here. We got 46 mobility, which is okay. Now 47 resilience. If this could have been a little bit higher, it's I would have taken it, but I don't really need mobility for PvE. At least I don't think I need it, but I'll take it. The 46, if I could have some of these points in resilience, I would have done so, but the way my stats was rolled, this is what I was able to get. Got 33 recovery, and this is pretty low. I'll just have to work around it, I guess. Now we got 100 discipline. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this is a 100 discipline build. Paired with Hallowfire Heart, I'm going to get my grenade back insanely fast. We got 37 intellect, which I'm not too worried about because once I do get my supercharge, I'm not really going to use it. I'm more going to have it charged that way I get my abilities back. And then we got 17 strength, which I have other ways to get around this, so this I'm not too worried about. So let's start with the helmet here. We got a discipline mod. We got a special ammo finder to help with Izanagi's. And then we got shield break charge, so when I break a combatant shield with the matching elemental type, I'm going to become charged with light. In this nightfall this week, there is actually all 3 elemental shields. I think there's mostly arc and void, but there is some solar shields. I think some of the taken captains have solar shields, so this is a pretty good one to have because you're going to be abusing that mechanic anyway. There's match game in the nightfall, so it's a pretty good one to have if you're trying to run a charge with light build. Now as for my arms, we're only rocking 2 mods. We're rocking 2 very good mods. We got enhanced momentum transfer, causing damage with a grenade greatly reduces your melee cooldown. I think it's about like 30. It looks like 30 to like 40% of my melee comes back whenever I do damage with my grenade. And then we're running supercharge, so that way I can have 4 stacks of charge with light up from 2. Pretty useful for any charge with light mod, or sorry, any charge with light build, I should say. Now this mod right here, I just want to talk about this for a second. Like I said, I had 17 strength. This is one of the ways I'm able to get around it because I have low strength. I'm not gonna be able to use my hammer strike as much as possible. So having this is gonna be able to allow me to get that melee cooldown faster whenever I use my grenades. And I'm gonna have a lot of grenades, so it's gonna pair very nicely with this build. And as for my exotic of choice, like I said, we're using Hallowfire Heart. And I got that sexy ornament. Like, look at that. It is on sale for Bright Dust this week, so cop it while you can because that shit is fire. Honestly, look at that. It has blue fire as opposed to just regular red fire or orange fire. Like, I don't know. Let me see. Which one's better? I mean, that is pretty cool too. But that ornament is pretty fly. But let's talk about it real quick. So we got a discipline mod on it. We got Sniper Rifle Reserve, so I can get more Izanagi shots, and then we're using Counter Charge, so I can become charged with light whenever any of my teammates or myself help deal with some of these champions. And then the perk that comes on the armor itself is called Sunfire Furnace. Improve the recharge rate of your solar abilities, just base increase of recharge rate, and then greatly improves recharge rate while your super is charged. So you already get that bonus to solar ability recharge, and then even more of a bonus when your super is charged, which is why I picked the top tree, because I don't really use it the super that much. Plus I have low intellect, so it's not really a super build. This is definitely more focused around using my abilities. So this is very good paired with the fact that I'm using 100 discipline. My grenade's gonna come back insanely fast, like stupid fast. And on my legs here we got a discipline mod as well, just to help me get to 100 discipline. We got enhanced sword scavenger, so whenever I do get a heavy brick, we get extra sword ammo from it. And then we're running taking charge. Now I'm running 3 masterwork weapons, so hopefully by using that I'm going to be able to generate a lot of orbs of light, helping me to become charged with light. And plus, whenever my teammates, if they are using masterwork weapons as well, or if they pop a super, I'm going to be able to pick up their orbs of light and become charged with light. On my Titan mark, we're using a concussive dampener, because I believe that there is a lot of boomers in the boss. I could be wrong, but this does help with some of the hard hitting damage in this game. The concussive dampener is really good. Honestly, I think it's kind of slept on. I don't really see many people using it, and it stacks. So if you guys want to use this, definitely use it. I highly recommend it. We're using recuperation, since I'm going to be dropping a lot of orbs of light from all my master weapons. Anytime I pick up one of them, I replenish some health. And then we're using enhanced ashes to assets. Like I said, I'm going to have my grenade a lot in this build, so using this is going to be able to help me get more super energy, so I can have my super in case I do need to pop it. I can get it back rather quickly. I wouldn't say insanely fast, but having this, I have pretty low intellect, so if I can keep racking up those grenade kills, this is going to help me out a lot. And then we're running firepower, so whenever I throw a grenade while charged with light, I get some of that grenade energy back, consuming only 1 stack of charge with light. So having 4 of those, plus having my grenade on a 100 having 100 discipline, I think it's like on a 30-second cooldown, but paired with the Hallowfire Heart, plus some of my other mods I have, I'm gonna get my grenade back. I'm gonna be able to utilize this a lot. Plus, whenever I do damage with my grenade, I'm gonna get some of my melee energy back. So this whole build is just revolving around using my grenade and melee and just getting my abilities back a lot and using them a ton throughout the Nightfall. So Hallowfire Heart was definitely an exotic that I was sleeping on. I like to use my super a lot. Whenever I have it, I just simply like to pop it. So every time I've seen it, I was always like, nah, like why would I just sit on my super just to get my abilities back faster? But then I was like, what, F it, I'm just gonna try it out and play the way that you're supposed to play with it. And just sitting on your super, actually just having it on does give you a base increase of ability cooldown. But once you get your super, it like ramps that up to like 10. Like you get your abilities back so much faster, and paired with the fact that I had some of these charged with light mods like firepower, that whenever I was charged with light, I get a portion of my grenade energy back, paired with the fact that I have 100 discipline and a demolitionist weapon. I was having my grenades so much, like so unbelievably fast. It was crazy, like way more than I was expecting. Not to mention that I think it's called enhanced momentum transfer. Whenever I did damage with my grenade, I got my melee ability back. So it was just like this constant cycle of using my melee, going in and hammer striking somebody, then throwing my grenade, getting some of that melee energy back, and then if I was charged with light, I was getting some of that grenade energy back, and then just rinse and repeat. Not to mention that Hammer Strike does have a weaken attached to it, so whenever you hammer strike a boss or any enemy really, they take increased damage. The only problem with that is that in the Nightfall, the bosses do the stop mechanic, which flies you across the map, and if you smack a wall, you're pretty much dead. You guys just saw it. So that's the only problem I had, was getting in and using the Hammer Strike on the bosses to weaken them. But other than that, like I found this build very powerful and very useful in the Nightfall. Being able to spam grenades or spam anything really just makes the Nightfall so much easier, and having a demolitionist and a swashbuckler weapon was, my primary was pretty much my ad clearing weapon. Then I had Izanagi's for the champions, and then I had my sword for the boss. Like, see, look right here, I'm hammer striking, boom, I get slammed, and then just dead right there. So that's the only problem I had with it. Other than that, this build was solid. It was a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Give it a shot. But like I said, I'm a fan of bottom tree, so I'm curious to see how this would work on bottom tree, so I'm gonna have to test that out next. But if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. It truly helps me out a lot. You can also check out my other videos. Links are in the description below. I have a lot of crazy builds in there, like a lot of crazy builds. So go ahead and check that out. And you might as well follow my social media. I have a Twitter and an Instagram, both at @fat_Bloonskis. But with all that being said, deuces.